Hello. Today we're going to be adding speech bubbles and sounds to our Scratch projects. Um, you could do this in any number of ways. I'm just going to show you a few examples of ways you could do this, and hopefully you make me beautiful, beautiful projects. So I'm going to go back into my sprite work that I'd done the other day, adding sprites to my to a scene. So I'm going to go into my stuff. I'm going to go to shared projects, and I'm going to open up those sprites I'd added to a scene the other day. Let's use this one. And what I want to do is I want to do two things today. I want to make it so that my sprites can have little speech bubbles or maybe even little thought bubbles so we could see what they're thinking, what they're saying. Maybe they can have a conversation with each other. And I want to make it so that my scene, my game, my project somehow makes noises. So we add sounds to our project. We're going to go over both of those things. Um, if you don't understand something, you could always go back, rewatch a part. You could always pause it, do one section, finish that up, move on to the next part, etc., etc. I'm going to show you guys a few examples and kind of explain the basics of how this works. So what we want to do is let's start by adding a speech bubble to one of our sprites. So let's make the um, catcher say, let's have this catching person say, toss me the ball or something, even though this is a basketball, whatever. So let's have them say, toss me a ball. So we have to go to looks to get the code block that lets us add a speech bubble. And there's a few different code blocks that do that. There's the say block, say for blank seconds. This says whatever you type in here for this amount of time. There's the say block that doesn't have a timer. This one will last forever, but really it'll last until next time that sprite says something with a say block. Then there's the think block, which will last for any amount of time you give it. Think for blank seconds. And then there's the think without the timer. And this will make a little thinking bubble here, a little thought bubble that will show up until next time a thought bubble appears. This one will make it show up until this timer ends. So we want to make her say, toss me the ball. And let's make her say it for 4 seconds. Let's make her say it for 3 seconds. I'm going to delete these other blocks. Now she's going to say, toss me the ball. But she doesn't say it. Nothing I do seems to make her say it. And that's because we need a piece of code to let the sprite know, to let the program know when this code should be run. When should she say this? So to do that, we need to go to events, and we need to pick a block out for when she should say, toss me the ball. So maybe I'll have her say, toss me the ball when space is pressed. So maybe when I press spacebar, she'll say, toss me the ball. I can hit this red stop sign to make it stop early. So again, press spacebar, and she says, toss me the ball. Because I used the event that says when space key is pressed, say, toss me the ball. I can change this to any key on my keyboard. So maybe when Q is pressed, toss me the ball. And then I could press Q on my keyboard right up here. And when I press Q, she'll say, toss me the ball. And you can have any kind of code run after this. You could take any kind of block. It doesn't have to be say, but today we're just working with say. So maybe you wanted to wait a second and then say, who knows? We'll talk about other code in future lessons. The most common event that people use is usually when this green flag is clicked. That'll start our program. It's the most common. I don't use it as much. I think it's less interesting in general, but it's very common. It's very straightforward. When this green flag is clicked, that'll make the program start, and she'll say, toss me the ball. And maybe we'll have Andy respond with, no, it's my ball. So maybe we'll give him a say block, and we'll have him say, no, it's my ball. 3 seconds. And maybe we'll have him say that when he's clicked. So maybe we'll start, and she'll say, toss me the ball. And then when I click on Andy, he'll say, no, it's my ball. Um, and that's about it for adding speech bubbles. Um, maybe I can give the basketball a speech bubble, and maybe I can have the basketball say, you know, don't I get a say in this? Like maybe he'll think, you know, why don't I get a say in this? And maybe he'll say that when this is clicked, and maybe he'll say it for a second instead of for so long. So maybe he'll say, why don't I get a say in this for 4 seconds? Why not? Actually, I want him to think it, sorry. So think, why don't I get a say in this for 4 seconds? You could add some, you know, say blocks, doing different things. Maybe the basketball should wait a second so I can go to control and give a little wait block. That'll make it go slower. These code blocks execute from top to bottom. We'll go over that tomorrow as well. And that's how we add these little speech bubbles and thought bubbles. So now you can tell a little story with your characters, make them say different things, stuff like that. The next thing we want to do is we also want to make it so that we could add sounds to our sprites. So maybe I'll start by giving the catcher some sounds. So sounds are saved in this tab up here. We have our code, we have our costumes. These are different kind of pictures that our sprite can use. Other 2D images inside of our sprite. We're not going to worry about costumes for now. And then sounds are saved inside of our sprite as well. So this catcher comes with a sound called pop. We can make the sound faster. We can make it slower. We can make it sound more robotic. We could reverse it. We can do all sorts of things. We could also record our own sounds by clicking on choose a sound and hit record. So maybe I could say, hey, Andy, toss me the ball. And now maybe I have this. And maybe I want to make her a little softer. Maybe I want to make her a little faster. Maybe she could sound more. Maybe she could speak in tongues. Oh no, that sounds really bad. So to undo that, I can hit Control Z. If I want to undo something I did, I can hit Control Z. I could select certain parts of the sound by highlighting it. And then I can change just those parts. So this thing over here is ball. So maybe I'll take ball and I'll make her say ball much slower. So she'll sound like a demon. Hey, Andy, toss me the ball. I don't know. But so that could be her sound. And now that we have a sound that we like, I'll name it so I know which one it is. So maybe I'll say, toss me the ball. In code, I'll make it so that when she says toss me the ball, so when the thing starts, she'll start sound, toss me the ball. So now right when I start, she says toss me the ball, and the sound plays. Another option for playing sounds is this one that says play sound until done. And the difference between that is that now when I hit start, it'll wait until the sound finishes before playing the next block. So it's kind of up to you what you use. Just know that this one will just start playing the sound and then move on to the next line of code. This one will wait until it finishes playing the sound to play the next line of code. So depending on what you want, depending on what the timings you want, you could use different ones. For example, maybe I wanted to say this and then say something else right after. So maybe I would have, until done, or maybe I just wanted to say it immediately. Then I would just have it like this. So I'm going to delete this one. And then maybe I'll have Andy respond with something. So when he's clicked, maybe he'll say, maybe I'll record him and say, no, no, it is my ball. There we go. Um, so just by clicking, so what I did there is I just clicked these buttons like slower, louder, robot, to make Andy sound like a demon, just by editing my own voice. You can also do this with music, by the way. You can edit music. You can, um, you know, cut and paste different sound effects in. So maybe you would want to do that for some reason. So if you're interested in sound and stuff, you could really play around with this really deeply. But we're just going to add in a sound effect for Andy. So maybe he'll say, and it's still named recording one. So I have to start sound and I have to pick which sound I want. And I have to make sure I'm using my ball. So I have to make sure I'm using the right sound. Now when I hit play, and now when I click on Andy, when this sprite is clicked, it'll start sound my ball. Pretty good. That's it for adding sounds. That's it for adding stuff like that. Actually, maybe we'll do one more thing. Maybe if you have a sound file saved to your computer, like a background sound that you like, you can save that to your computer as well. So to your Scratch program. So I can hit upload sound, and maybe I can put in some chiptune sound effects. So maybe I could have a song playing in the background. Maybe I'll make it a little quieter. So maybe I'll have this song quietly playing in the background. And maybe I'll actually move this into a different sprite. Maybe I'll have the basketball be the one playing the sound, since it's not really doing anything else. So when it's clicked, start the sound. So when the program starts, start playing that background sound. And I think that's about it for sounds. You could also add in any other sound in the world you want, make any sound you want, edit the sounds, stuff like that. Maybe I could change this music track to be faster. Maybe I could select certain parts to make them louder. I clicked fade in, that'll make it quiet at the beginning and loud at the end. Fade out, we'll do the same thing but in reverse. And maybe I'll make the whole thing louder. Cool. And hopefully you guys have a good idea of how to add sounds, how to add speech bubbles. What's due for this assignment is just to add some sounds, add some speech bubbles, make a scene like this, make your characters talk to each other, make them say something, maybe have some background music. And hopefully you guys do pretty well with that. The requirements, if you're in the classroom, are all in the today's class assignment. It should be pretty clear, it's pretty straightforward. Shoot me an email if you need any help. Thank you all, and hopefully you all get this done